feel like you're trapped, angry that other people who aren't as skilled as you are doing better than you are, feel like a failure because nothing is working, irritated with your friends and family for the smallest things, tired all the time, but you can't sleep. Can you see yourself drinking all the time because it's not like anything's working anyway? Are you caught on a never-ending treadmill because there are people who depend on you, and if you take a break they're affected, but bringing them on board brought you farther away from what you liked about your work? Now you feel guilty about resenting the people who are helping you. You also feel guilty about feeling this way about something that thousands of other people would give everything to have. But it only looks perfect from the outside, if only they knew.
I didn't really mean for that to be quite so intense, but it's true. And if you're going through this, you know that everything in there is real. And we're talking about burnout, which is a really important thing to recognize early, know what it is, why it happens, and what to do about it. So I wanted to talk with you about all of that through the lens of my own experience with burnout as a creator, performer, solopreneur, person who does his own thing for business. So let's dive in. It's a difficult topic, and the guilt that you have, the challenge around, resenting the thing that you used to love is a really difficult place to be in, and it's hard for people on the outside to understand just how difficult it is because, like we said in the intro, from the outside looking in, it looks like you've got everything that you could ever hope and dream for, but it's almost like some kind of genie gave you what you wished for in the most messed up way possible so that it is a nightmare, not a dream. And if you don't know how to navigate this, your dream that 6-year-old you would have absolutely loved may not last all that long. So I want to help protect you from the negative consequences of letting burnout continue until you blow up instead of just burning out. So let's dig into that. For me, it was back in my mid-20s when I was going full-time as a performer. This was kind of early in my career doing the mind reading show. And there was one particular day that was kind of my rock bottom moment. I hit rock bottom so hard I bounced and somehow still kept digging until I got my way out of this. And that day was my then girlfriend's birthday, and we go outside of the apartment and my car's gone because my car got repossessed. I was 6 months behind on payments and I had moved but not filed anything officially so that the repo people wouldn't be able to find me, but they're really good at their job and they found it. And then it was at that moment that I realized, oh, so that sound of the car alarm was my car crying out, "Why did you let them do this to me?" And that was a really tough day. And I realized that I was angry and frustrated all the time, and I was drinking a lot, and I would be very irritated with people that I loved and who loved me. And I was just in a really, really bad spot. And also, I hated the thing that I've loved since I was a kid. And I realized I hated it because it wasn't giving me what I thought it should be giving me, which is money and travel and all this stuff. Yes, I did do that stuff, but not often enough to stay ahead of bills and all that kind of thing. So it was more about resenting what I thought it should be doing for me that it wasn't. And it was more about that than being realistic about how effective I was being at doing the job I'm here to do. And that was the hardest realization for me, which up until that point, I was saying it's clients, it's the marketplace, it's this person let me down. And I was so outward focused. And I was the rock star. It's this show. Look what I can do. Nobody else in the world can do what I can do. Look how cool I am. So it was all about me, never about anybody else, except for when they mess up and it's their fault, not mine. All of that was a function of being so preoccupied with myself, navel gazing, narcissism, whatever you want to call it. It was being so focused on my belief of who I am or who I should be and who I thought other people should recognize me as. All of that was out of alignment with reality, which was I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing the best I could, and it was really not good. So for me, the moment was realizing that I was burned out because the way I had been doing things was not sustainable from a revenue standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a relationships standpoint, from a health and wellness standpoint. I was gaining weight like crazy. So it was that I was using my best strategy and it wasn't working. And I was blaming everything but my decision making. Because if you're burned out, it's because you're trying to accomplish an outcome with an approach, a system, a strategy, effort that is out of alignment with what is effective. Because whatever thing that you think success is, I would almost bet you dollars to donuts that there's going to be somebody on planet Earth who knows how to make that happen without sacrificing their friends, without sacrificing their sanity, their health, everything. So they know something that I didn't. So when I had my come to Jesus meeting with myself, that moment looked like admitting that my best isn't good enough. I don't know better, so I need to know better so that I can do better. And that's the mantra of my dear friend and mentor, David Hyra, who says, when you know better, do better. You didn't know better, that's why you didn't do better. So now that you know better, do better, and be more kind and forgiving for who you were when you were doing the best you could, which wasn't all that great, right? So I had to humble myself and to say, you know what? Things aren't great and I can't afford from a dollars and cents standpoint and from a relationships standpoint and from a liking myself and being able to look myself in the mirror standpoint, all of those, I can't afford to keep doing it this way. So I had to call everything off, and I actually spent a week down in Costa Rica, which is where Hyra retired to. And we just spent a whole week, and he taught me everything I needed to know about being a corporate consultant, about value, about how to help people. And that's really all it boils down to, which is instead of trying to make other people help you and give you what they have that you want, it's more about how can I put my imagination to use in service of your goal to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish in less time, with less effort, with less money, whatever that looks like. The more people that I can help in less time, the better off my life gets, the better my relationships are. So the instant I stopped thinking about how can I make more money? How can I pay my bills? How can I do this? How can I get people to book me? How can I do this? How can I do that? That whole hamster wheel that I was stuck on for years of why doesn't it, right? You know what it is. You've got that in your head. If you're still watching now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The instant that I understood that I have to be of service and to focus on helping the most people the fastest at the highest quality possible, my life turned around. I started booking more things. I started being a consultant, helping people communicate their value more effectively. That also means that I could work with companies to help their marketing messaging, to shore up their branding, to be in alignment with what the experience of working with them is like. Well, let's help communicate that through all of your branding, your marketing, your sales, your delivery, everything. So now I'm working with all sorts of people and companies and enterprises and all sorts of stuff about the things that bring me joy. I love helping people figure out how to connect with other people. And that's communication. That's relationships. So all the things I thought I would get from being on stage rock star guy, I get by helping other people be the rock star, which is a very strange idea. And it was completely alien to me in my 20s. But I spent my 30s pulling myself out of the hole I dug through my 20s. And now I'm 41 and things are on the upswing. And that's kind of a big reason why I started this YouTube channel. I wanted to share as much of this as I could with as many people, that's you, as possible. How in the world else am I going to reach somebody cool like you wherever you are in the world? YouTube is it, man. So that's why I had to make a YouTube video to share as much as I know with as many people as I can who would find value in it and to be able to apply it in your own life. So hopefully this is something that gives you hope that if you're in the middle of this, there are ways out. I know that it feels like dying because in a way it is an ego death. It is the passing away of a way of thinking about yourself and the world that is no longer serving you. And that perspective will fight to stay alive. And it will fight tooth and nail, and it will feel like everything is ending. And you do have to end that part of yourself that is keeping you in this cycle if you want to live a different kind of life. And it is possible. You can make that happen. It's not easy. It's going to be some of the most difficult stuff that you do, but it's also worth it. So if you don't know what those next steps are, I want to hear from you. Put it in the comments or shoot me an email. Let me know because I would love to be a part of that journey of helping you get where you want to go, which is hopefully out of this hamster wheel of burnout before you wind up burning down your whole life and all of your relationships and regret it for the next 20 years. I don't want that for you. So that's it. If this kind of thing is interesting to you, then I have another video that I think is right up your alley. And it's talking about shadow work and the role of our shadow self that never goes away, but we refuse to look at and accept, and how that goes into your relationships. I'll make sure to put that on screen as well. And if you want to dive even deeper than that, subscribe to the channel or find me at icanreadminds.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter called The Persuasive Professional. And every weekday, I'll send you short notes about how to be more influential at work and life in general. But thank you so much for still being here. I love that you're here. I would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, remember, if you can change your mind, you can change your life.